Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of the Las Vegas Advisor Weekly Update with Anthony and Andrew. Today is Thursday, June 13th, 2024.
Yep.
Let's start by talking about some exciting things that we have coming up on this channel.
Yeah, well, basically, we're changing our schedule
A little bit,
around a little bit. So we do these updates, but we're also going to build in some Beer Fridays.
Yep.
Because we have enough people that like those. Some people go, I hate them. I don't want to watch that. Yep. Well, don't watch it.
Back by popular demand, Beer Friday.
Doctor, it hurts when I do this. Don't do that.
Right.
It hurts when I do this. Don't do that. But I mean, you don't like Beer Friday. Don't watch Beer Friday. We like it. Information gets out. We have a good time.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. So next week will be a Beer Friday, and then we're going to have a scheduled guest. We're going to try to start scheduling guests because we think it's a good way to go. Mm-hmm. And that guest is going to be Steve Sear.
That's right.
All right.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yep. In the flesh. Not in the flesh there, but he will be.
That's right.
Steve is as good as it gets when it comes to telling stories.
Right.
In Vegas, things. He's been a host here for, who knows, 30-some years or something. And Steve will be next. So next week, Beer Friday. The following week will be probably a somewhat pre-recorded, but Steve will be the guest.
And people have been asking for Steve.
Yeah, well, they've heard him. Yeah, they've heard him on other things. Steve's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So a lot of exciting things coming up.
Yeah, we're planning ahead. We haven't been planning for years. It seems like we've been doing it for years. We just do it. We sit down and do it. We're going to start planning. We're going to start bringing people in.
First up today, Anthony called me and he says, Andrew, you got to go check out the Tropicana.
Yeah, the demolition.
Yeah, the demolition.
It's in progress. They're taking down the Trop, and I drive by it and I look over there and I go, wow.
It's a lot of
stuff. Like amazing, what's going on. So Andrew goes over and he shoots some footage this morning, and he comes over. I go, did you get some footage? He goes, yeah. I go, it's pretty cool, huh? And he's like,
yeah, I saw a piece of the building come down, a little,
He's kind of like, I'm like, how could you not think that was cool? I mean, all this, whatever. So I look at the footage, and I realize that everything that I've been looking at the past couple of weeks is now completely gone.
Yep.
All right, so here's what it started out. I think we're showing on the screen now.
Right.
Is what I was looking at, and I thought we were going to show. This is from vitalvegas.com. Scott Robin, terrific vlog, however you want to call it.
Does great work.
Yeah, he does great work. So go to vitalvegas.com. You can see the rest of that video. Mm-hmm. And then here's what we saw.
This is what I shot today.
Yeah. So you can see. Now at least it's worth something. You can see how they've cleaned it up so fast, right? I mean, I can't believe that they took all that debris and rubble and all that and got it out so quickly.
Yeah, Tanya was saying you got to hire these guys for Formula One. And she's right.
Yeah. Tanya Maynard, who works here, she says Formula One should hire them.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's right. But I mean, you can see that they're taking down the Tropicana. That's not. You can see in the background there the towers. Mm-hmm. The towers are still supposed to be imploded in October, and but the other was being taken down by machines, and those were the bungalows in the back where they were just essentially clawing them down and bulldozing them down. And then all of that debris has been removed already. So it's interesting the way they always put up, even now, if you're driving by, you can't really look at it anymore because they always put up these fences. They don't want you to see it for some reason.
They have giant wooden panels. You really have to walk all the way to sort of like the middle of the construction site, and when I was able to stick my hand through the gate to get some footage.
It's odd. I don't know why they always do that. They don't want you to see what's going on in there, and all they're doing is they're just doing construction work. But anyway, so that's the way it was. That's the way it is now, and we're waiting for the big implosion, I guess, in October.
All right, so last week we got a lot of buzz around this $150 free play going on at Tuscany, but Anthony went down to actually check it out. So what'd you find out?
Well, it's a good deal.
Yeah, for sure.
First of all, you got to be a new member to the club, and you get $150 in free play. Mm-hmm. But there are a few things you got to know. I think we might have mentioned in the last video that, yeah, we did. You don't get the $150 all at once.
Right. You have to come back 3 separate times.
Right. So you do it the first time, then you come back twice. Mm-hmm. But there's more to it than that. You've got to go, when you come back the second time, and the first time you got to go to the booth and sign up. When you come back the second time, you've got to go to the booth again. Mm-hmm. And then the third time, you've got to go to the booth to tell them to put it on your card.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll be sitting there waiting for it. It's not going to come up.
Okay.
It takes about 5 minutes. Once they put it on, you walk away, and in about 5 minutes, it's there. Also, it looks like, and I haven't checked this because I played anyway in between, but you've got to play something in between. Mm-hmm. And we've been told by certain reports that you just got to play $5.
Okay.
Play a couple of hands and then go to the booth, and then you'll get your 50. So you go 3 times. You can go on consecutive days. They got to be 24 hours apart. and you're going to get 150 in free play. I mean, that's as good as it gets in a casino right now for new members.
Right. Now, we also talked about Tuscany having free parking and a good restaurant, too. So those are just some other reasons that you might want to go.
Yeah, Tuscany's an odd place. You know, for people who don't know, it's just about a mile east of the Strip, down around where Ellis Island is.
It's walking
Silver
distance
Seven.
from Ellis.
Yeah. But it's kind of a strange place, but it's a good place. I like it. And one more thing, you know, I played at the bar where their schedules aren't so good, but they got a double bonus machine there, an 8-5 machine that goes positive with the progressive royal flush at about 2,400.
Wow.
And it was at 2,900 plus.
Really?
When I was there, yeah. So
That's
it was
high.
101.35%.
Okay.
So look for this double game. If it's at 2,400 or better, then play that one. One more thing, Andrew. It looks like that's going to run only until the end of June.
Okay, so you got to get to Tuscany to do this deal now.
Yeah, and we'll stay on top of it. If they do other things, we'll report.
So it's Restaurant Week currently in Las Vegas. And by Restaurant Week, it's actually gone over the course of 12 days. I believe they've extended it to next Saturday. But they're extending it to June 21st. Tell us a little bit about what to expect in town if you're interested in Restaurant Week.
Well, at first we never even talked about it. You know, they've been doing this is the 17th year of Restaurant Week.
Okay.
And what it is a whole bunch of restaurants around town, many of them in the casinos, all get together and participate in this, where they give you a 3 or 4 course meal for anything from $20 to $120, depending on how fancy it is. They work in conjunction with a group called 3 Square, who they get food to people who are, as they call it, food insecure, they call it these days.
Okay.
I just call it them being hungry.
Okay, right, sure.
But anyway, you know, the proper way now, you know, the PC way now is food insecure.
And probably apartment insecure as well.
Well, that's if you don't have a house. If you're homeless, you're home insecure, I'm told.
Yes.
So, but whatever. I mean, that's the way they want to do it. That's the way they want to do it. I just shake my head a little bit.
Right.
But anyway, we move forward. It's, you know, there's like 200 restaurants that participate in this. And I wasn't sure how good a deal it was in the past. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I took a good look at this because they're extending it to the 21st of June. We've got in the description box underneath the video the link to it.
Okay.
And you can see and you can click on one of these. So I just randomly clicked on one. A Blue Ribbon Sushi, I think it's called, at Cosmopolitan.
Okay,
All
great.
right, so their thing was $100. All right, so I took a look at it. First course, there's several things, but here's one: oyster and shrimp cocktail tasting, steak tartare. The steak tartare itself is $35.
Okay.
All right, so then you go to the second course. There's a charcuterie tasting. There's a teriyaki meatball. You know, various things. You know, almost like another appetizer. The teriyaki meatball, $23.
Okay.
We're up to $58 already, right? Third course, that's your main course. All right, third course is your main course. The famous Blue Ribbon style fried chicken. I've had it. It's really good.
Okay.
All right, a shrimp dish, grilled salmon, Colorado lamb chops, $68.
Wow.
And then fourth course is either chocolate chip bread pudding or some other kind of dessert. I forget what it was.
Delicious dessert. Yeah.
So I mean, the whole thing comes out to about $141. That's not bad, you know. I mean, and they're charging you $100. Anywhere from $2 to $8 of that goes to the charity.
Great.
So,
okay,
you
so
know,
it's a $100 prefix meal
Yeah.
with a value of about $150.
And this was just in basically a random one that I looked at. There's literally a couple hundred of them that you can choose. So anyway, it runs through the 21st. If you're in town, you have time, give it a look. You might find a real gem there.
Sure. You got a link in the description box.
Yep.
Now let's talk about more food. Let's talk about an awesome restaurant. Let's talk about the 808 Cafe here in Vegas.
Yeah, kind of a new discovery we just made.
Okay.
And 808, people from Hawaii recognize that, the Hawaiian area code. So this is run by a Hawaiian transplant to Vegas, and it's the menu is Hawaiian and other Asian. Mostly Chinese, but various Asian. This place is great.
Okay.
It's located at Flamingo in Buffalo, so it's on the west side of town, and a huge menu, big portions. Nothing over $20.
That's great. We like that.
It's terrific. So, I tried a couple of things there. Some of the good ones, the shumai. I mean, big. If you've had shumai, usually it's small shumai. You get this big shumai, 5 pieces, I think it was, $7.95. something they call gao-ji, which is that's a Hawaiian dish, and it's like fried dumplings. It's the best I've ever had of those.
Oh, great!
Terrific, because they got all the sauces and everything else. The star of the show there, at least so far, salt and pepper fish, $14.95.
Okay,
it's tremendous.
All right.
I mean, a buddy of mine said, that's how I found out about it. A buddy of mine said, you got to go try this, man. He goes, the salt and pepper fish is ridiculous.
Okay.
So it's terrific. You know, we wanted to talk about it. It's another one of these like local corner finds. And not only that, but we talked to the owners there and we said, man, this is so good. Like, why don't you give us a member rewards coupon for it for our people? He's like, okay.
All right.
So he did. So here's the thing. If you're an LVA subscriber,
Okay.
and you go and you spend $40, so that's easy. Even though it's cheap, you can get a lot of different things. You do that with two people.
Small plates.
Yeah. For $5 extra, they'll give you the house rice, which is, it sounds like a rice dish, but it comes with your choice of whatever kind of protein, you know, any kind of protein, shrimp, chicken, beef, whatever you want, pork. It's huge. I mean, it's like a meal for two that you'll probably end up taking out because of all the other stuff. And you just download the coupon and use it if you're a member. If you're not a member, we have some coupons there that are for anybody who goes to it. Just go to our website, go to the coupon area, and you can get 5% off of $20. Not much, you know, $1.25. Or
Hey, but it's a free coupon.
Yeah, off of $25, excuse me, or 10% off of $100. If you're going to go and you're not a member of LVA, just go and you'll get something off of something. Why not?
Yeah.
But this place is great. It's outstanding food, cool little local place, you know, mom and pop type joint, big food, low prices, outstanding.
Now, there's also something to mention here that I think we've mentioned before, and it's something you told me, and it's that Las Vegas, a lot of Hawaiians refer to as the Ninth Island.
Oh, yeah. Everybody in Hawaii knows that. They call it the Ninth Island because there are a lot of Hawaiian transplants and a lot of Hawaiian visitors.
Yeah.
And that's what downtown's all about. But that's why we like this, because we know there are a lot of Hawaiian visitors. We know we have a lot of Hawaiian viewers. And this is one of your countrymen, you know, that you can support. 808 Cafe over on Buffalo.
All right, so Anthony, you just did a pretty recent interview for CasinoReports.com. What's interesting about this?
Well, we don't, you know, I do a lot of online interviews, and we don't usually bring them up, but this one was different. All right, it's called Real Lives, and for two reasons I want to talk about it. One is that it was conducted by a guy named Eric Raskin, and Eric is one of our authors.
Okay.
And he did the book The Moneymaker Effect, which is the whole story. It's called an oral history, right? There's a certain way of writing called oral history, where you do a lot of interviews with a lot of different people. And it's the whole story about how poker got big.
Okay.
And some fantastic interviews in there, and why Chris Moneymaker was the linchpin to this. So hence, you know, the Moneymaker Effect. So I wanted to be able to promote this for Eric, who asked me if we could do some promotion for the interview. Two is it was different. They asked me a bunch of different questions that I think people might be interested in. I mean, you know, one of them was, he asked me when I started what was the over-under on the Las Vegas Advisor when I started it?
Like when you started LVA, how long did you think you could make a living? Or
so I tell the story a little bit about it, you know, about that. They asked me, you know, favorite restaurants on the high end and on the cheap eats. Cheap eats was easy, Ellis Island. The high end, I didn't know where to go with that.
That's
know,
hilarious.
I thought about it. I finally went with Four Queens.
Okay,
Which
Hugo
is
Cellar?
Hugo Cellar at Four Queens.
Yeah.
Again, there's a number of reasons there. One is the sommelier has been there forever. His name's John Simmons.
Okay.
And his stepdaughter is our receptionist.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay,
I wanted to plug them. So we did some fun things there. They asked me about my biggest win ever, which was in a tournament in Atlantic City. So I tell an interesting story about what happened there. And then they asked me one which you'll find interesting, I think, my least favorite form of gambling.
Oh, well, can I guess?
I want you to guess. I didn't tell you.
I would guess it would be slot machines.
You got it right on.
Did I? Okay.
I said mindless machines.
Yeah.
And I said which would be almost any slot, and most of all Keno.
Most of all Keno, that's right.
Your favorite game.
I love Keno because I like to just watch it, you know, hit the straight lines.
Yeah. So anyway, check it out. We've got a link to it in the description box. It's a pretty good interview, and check it out.
Now, this question of the week comes from the comments, and I kind of hear Jerry Seinfeld in my head going, what's the deal with the Lucky 20? So what's the deal, Anthony? What's with the Lucky 20?
Good impersonation. I like that. Lucky 20. All right, you've not heard of it.
No, I didn't know what it was, but now when we talked about it, I'm like, okay, I see that happening.
All right, the Lucky 20 is something that happens in bars mostly.
In Las Vegas.
Yeah, with gamblers.
Yeah.
And when somebody hits something big, they may all of a sudden walk around. They may all of a sudden walk around and start handing out $20 bills to everybody in the joint. Not just their friends, just everybody in the joint gets a $20 bill. And that's called the Lucky 20.
How much you have to win to start giving out Lucky 20s?
It's different for different people. I mean, some people could hit huge, like me. I wouldn't be giving out any Lucky 20s. But, I mean, they'll hit something. Maybe they'll just hit a $1,000 Royal.
Okay.
Maybe they'll hit a big Keno hand. And all of a sudden, they're walking around, everybody gets the Lucky 20.
Okay.
And it's just sort of a tradition. And first time they gave it to me, I was like, I don't want that. I rejected it, and they get mad. And so they gave it to me, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I was like, give it to the bartender. I didn't know what to do with it.
Because they think it's good karma or something.
That's exactly what it is. They think it's karma.
Superstition, yeah.
And it's the Lucky 20. And then you're supposed to do the same thing later on. So, I didn't want to keep the 20 because I'm not going to give the 20.
Right.
I don't get the Lucky 20. It's like these people, most of them are people that play all the time. They play bad games. They lose a lot of money. They finally hit something. They've got money. And the first thing they do is they overtip. And the next thing they do is they give everybody 20s. That's part of the over-tipping, right? Then they call somebody up and they go, I got your money.
Right.
And they pay a debt. And then they gamble more at bad games.
Drink more, maybe.
Yeah. And then they borrow money and they do it all again.
And that's the cycle of gaming
I'm like,
sometimes.
keep your money. When you hit something, don't just give it away. Yes, you want to tip the bartender. We've talked about that, especially in a local joint. But I don't really get it, walking around giving people $20 bills.
To strangers.
It makes them feel better.
Yeah.
And they dig it. And that's the Lucky 20.
All right. So leave in the comments if you've ever experienced this. Maybe if you got a story about a Lucky 20 that happened at your bar, at your local bar.
Well, there's something similar called the revolving 20.
What's the revolving 20?
The revolving 20, and the bartenders will know what this is.
Okay.
Is when they go around and visit one another, they throw a $20 tip on the bar right off the bat, and they drink for free.
Okay.
And then they go to the next bar, and they do it again, then that bartender doesn't comes back to their bar, so it's the same 20 that keeps going around.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Yeah.
So that's the revolving 20.
The revolving 20. All right. And in this week's Jackpot of the Week, it comes to us from our buddy, Jackpot Jared, who we gave the nickname Jackpot Jared because we did a Jackpot of the Week on Jared, who's hit a few monsters. But this one happened. He sent it to us. He says, I thought you'd appreciate this. It was not me. Someone at our local casino bet $1.05 on a triple play double super times pay and got a 20 times multiplier and was dealt a royal flush for $12,000.
That's pretty good.
How does that happen, Anthony?
I don't know how it happens, but it happened. This one, we don't know the casino.
Okay.
We don't know what the pay schedule is because we can't see it. He only sent us the one picture. And so what? So there's no lessons here. There doesn't always have to be a lesson. But this is, I looked at it and said $1.05. How did he bet $1.05?
Right.
Okay, so he's playing double super times pay. I had to kind of like reverse engineer this one a little bit. There's probably people out there, I'm sure there are, that know this game better than me. Right. But it turns out we've talked about it before on the show, actually, so not the first time. It's a 7-coin game.
Right.
All right, so it's a 7-coin game. We talked about sometimes games you pay 6 coins and you get a bonus, but it pays as 5. This one you pay 7 coins and it pays as 5. All right, so what he's got is he's playing 7 coins, 35 cents. He's playing nickels.
Right. And
he's playing 3 lines.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go right there. That's 35 cents times 3. There's the $1.05.
Okay, $1.05 a hand.
Now, in this game, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but if you are Delta Royal, it defaults to a 20 times multiplier.
Wild.
All right, so his $200 nickel royal flush on the bottom is multiplied by 20. It becomes 4,000.
Unbelievable.
And because it was dealt, it's on 3 lines. So it's 4, 4, and 4. So there's its 12,000 right there.
So it normally would be a $200 royal flush.
That's a $200 royal on a nickel.
But times 20
times 3
equals $4,000 per line.
Yeah.
$12,000. Unbelievable.
So we don't know who this guy was. We just know that Jared saw it.
Yeah.
And we just know this one heck of a crazy jackpot, and we had to show it.
Well, that's why we call you Jackpot Jared. You're around people, and they
just
get
around it,
jackpots,
right?
and
Yeah.
you're creating jackpots everywhere.
He pulls them in. All right. So good.
Cool. That's it for this week. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please leave a comment. If you don't know what to say, just write jackpot. It helps us with the algorithm. Also, for that same reason, share the videos. And that's it for this week. Anything to add, Anthony?
Well, bring your negative comments about the 20.
Yeah.
People are going to yell at me about the 20, I guarantee you. Bring it on. That's okay. I can defend it.
All right. And we'll maybe talk about it again next week.
During Beer Friday.
That's right. Beer Friday. And then we got Steve Sear coming up.
It's going to be fun.
All right. We'll see you next week. Great.
Okay, good.